We have a couple of interesting new designer releases to discuss about. Are they any good? Are they worth our money? Let's try them out. Hi there. Welcome to my channel. My name is Diana, and I am a fragrance enthusiast who has been collecting fragrances over the last 5 years. Here on this channel, we talk about all fragrances. It doesn't matter if it's niche, designer, or Middle Eastern. The ultimate goal is just to smell good and feel good. A couple of weeks back, Burberry came out with a new flanker to their beloved Goddess line. It is called Burberry Goddess Parfum, and as you can see, it comes in the very same bottle as the previous two Goddess perfumes. Eventually, when I received it, I was even unsure for a second if I received the right version or not. The only difference in the design is that the word Parfum is printed on the bottle below the logo. This fragrance features the notes of raspberry, lavender, vanilla, vanilla absolute, vanilla caviar, and suede. Now, honestly, looking at the notes, it sounded very intriguing and scary at the same time to me. Usually I can cope with sweet leather, but raspberry can pull quite sour on my skin. Still, I dare to blind buy a full bottle, as you can see. Since I'm a collector and eventually I enjoyed the previous releases from the Goddess line, I did not expect that they would come up with a fragrance that is challenging to my nose. Well, I have to say, they managed. So, upon first sniff, it is very sweet, very candid, and the raspberry comes across very, very syrupy. Not sour at all. However, the fragrance almost immediately transitioned into a strong leather scent with a very small sweetness of vanilla on my skin. A faint hint of raspberry also stayed throughout the wear, but it was barely detectable. On Fragrantica, it was compared to Hugo Boss Alive, Serge of La Capitale, or Prada Paradoxe Intense. To my nose, it is not even close to any of them. Alive from Hugo Boss is much sweeter and the leather note is very light. Basically, you can barely distinguish it from the other notes. La Capitale is a fruity leather, but the leather note is made quite differently. I think La Capitale is more wearable for me. And Paradoxe Intense has definitely nothing to do with this Goddess flanker. The day when I was wearing it, was not too warm, around 23 degrees Celsius with moderate humidity. I am not sure if it was the climate or my skin, but I did not really like the leather. It became too strong. I can imagine that maybe when it gets colder, then the vanilla will be shining a bit longer and the leather will not be this distracting. When it comes to the mood of the fragrance, I definitely picture a very strong woman, for example, a leadership position, who needs to prove herself in the world of men. I think you can pull it off if you like masculine-leaning scents and you want to radiate power and strength. I can also imagine it layering with the original one or even with the intense version. I think it would complement them very, very nicely and also help with the longevity of the other two. The longevity of this one, I would say, is moderate, with 4 to 5 hours on the skin. So this was Burberry Goddess Parfum. The next flanker release is from the Marc Jacobs Perfect line. It is Marc Jacobs Perfect Absolute, and it comes in this very beautiful dark burgundy colored bottle. Some people find these bottles tacky, but I have to confess that I really like the design of the cap and it makes these perfumes very, very collectible as well. This one is described as a sweet caramel, fruity amber perfume with some woody undertones, which is right up my alley. It features the notes of fig, caramel, jasmine, and amber. Now, when it comes to the scent, this is beautiful, very sexy and sensual. I can imagine a very rich and sophisticated lady wearing it at a fundraiser or a high-class party. The fig is very juicy, comes across almost overripe at first. However, it calms down after a few minutes. The caramel doesn't have any burnt aspect. It is very mellow. It only adds to the syrupy sweetness. I can smell the jasmine in it, but it is only rounding up the perfume and makes it complete together with the amber. The mood of this fragrance is definitely date night or parties, but I do not mean necessarily parties like clubbing, as this fragrance is a bit more elegant in my opinion. It definitely carries the same perfect DNA, but this is the darkest, deepest and sweeter version of, for example, Perfect Elixir that came out last year. The performance on me was very impressive. It lasted 7 to 8 hours on my skin and the scent remained very complete and full. It did not fall apart. When it comes to comparisons, people on Fragrantica mention perfumes like Miss Dior Cherie, Hugo Boss Alive Again, or Scandal Absolute. I recently smelled a sample of Scandal Absolute, and it is the only perfume where I kinda understand the comparison. It is also very deep, dark, overly sweet, with a lot of fig, and I think the fig is also made in a very, very similar way, like in Perfect Absolute. I feel that the Scandal version is even sweeter than Perfect, and it's even a bit thicker. Scandal Absolute has been on my wishlist, but now I'm wondering if they are different enough to have both in my collection. As far as the rest of the comparisons go, I don't recognize any resemblance with the other fragrances mentioned. So this was Perfect Absolute. Before we move on to the last fragrance, if you are still here, then you most probably like this video. So please show it to YouTube and hit the like button and also consider to subscribe. The third designer release that I'm reviewing today is La Bomba from Carolina Herrera. I got completely captivated by the bottle design. I really love seeing some unique ideas when it comes to perfume bottles, and this one is just beautiful. Only the cap feels a little bit maybe too plasticky and cheap, but I love the overall aesthetics of the design. As you can see, the pink color of the bottle already set the vibes. I expect something girly, flirty and happy, and it is. It is a tropical, fruity floral fragrance with some touches of vanilla and patchouli. It opens with a note of dragon fruit, which is followed by some frangipani, peonies, and in the base the vanilla is providing some extra sweetness, which is grounded by the patchouli, which also makes this perfume longer lasting. To my nose, it is a very sweet fragrance with some gourmand touches. It is thick, sweet, and the fruitiness is not tart or zingy at all. It rather adds a bit more to the heaviness. Somehow the vanilla frangipani and patchouli trio almost smells like caramel frosting on a cake to me. If I have to compare it again to something, the original Good Girl or Viktor and Rolf's Bonbon come into my mind. Again, people on Fragrantica have different opinions and they are comparing this scent to Ranin by Asdaf or Paco Rabanne Fame. I recently received Ranin and I am preparing a review of some new Middle Eastern fragrances, but I can already share that Ranin is very similar to Prada Paradox Intense and it has nothing to do with La Bomba. Paco Rabanne Fame is a mango jasmine perfume, which is not even close to the sweetness of this. La Bomba is a bit generic, I have to say, but in a good way. I can see it being very crowd-pleasing, easy to wear in the fall and winter time, very happy. However, I don't think that it is an ideal wear for a hot climate with high humidity, as it can become also very cloying. In overall, this one is a like to me and easily can become one of my easy reach fragrances. The longevity and the sillage are also really good. I also got a compliment from my boyfriend when I wore it for the first time. So it is just proof that it is something that others will like smelling on you. So this was La Bomba. Looking at these three releases, the absolute standout for me was Perfect Absolute from Marc Jacobs. There is something addictive in the sweet sticky note of caramel combined with fig. My number 2 choice would be La Bomba with its easy to wear scent profile, and the fragrance that I'm on the fence about is the new Goddess Parfum. I haven't decided yet if I will declutter it or I will try to layer it with other fragrances. I think I will also have to revisit it when fall hits us. So this was it for today. Have you tried any of these new releases? Please weigh in and share your opinions in the comments. And until the next time, bye bye.